Welcome to another pre-show, everyone. Gather round, gather round.
Pull them all in, circle the wagons, break down all the barriers.
All right. I hope you guys are excited for a fun 4th of July weekend. And hope you've got plans. I know I do. I'm
I
really
sure
excited
do.
for this one.
I'm very excited myself. I've got tremendous plans for the 4th of July.
Oh yeah,
I'm hugely excited.
Are you going to save that for the full episode, or are you going to divulge now?
That is a hard question. What percentage do you think of our patrons are real dyed-in-the-wool flag wavers?
Let's say maybe 25%.
Why do you think that guy has wrapped himself in the flag and isn't wearing anything else? Is that for the 4th of July, do you think? I'm just asking. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I don't judge. You know that.
I don't know, Charles. I can't read into the hearts of men.
Ooh, very well, sir. All right. So you're not the judge of the living and the dead. You make no claim to be Joe Ladd. Great. That's fine. I don't care. If you want to claim you're not omnipotent and omniscient and omnipresent, I'll back you up.
Good.
If that's your story, you're sticking to it, sure.
Let's get that straight right now.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, he is not omnipresent, he's not omniscient, and he's not omnipotent.
Here we go. All right, questions time. Are you ready?
Questions. You say this in the immediate aftermath of Dominatrix Dominavi?
I don't know what that is. All right.
It's the Pope's latest thing on liturgy.
I don't read that kind of stuff. All right. Question from Brian.
You don't read cheap Pope fiction. All right, fine. That way, Mr. Literary Purist. Let me tell you something. You see my lapel pin tonight?
That's a new one, huh?
It is, and I'm very proud of it.
What is that?
It says Peace River.
What is that?
It's a town in Alberta, Canada.
Why are you wearing that?
Why am I wearing it? As a testimony to the bravery of the many French Canadians who went up to the northern end of Alberta and dug this town out of the wilderness.
All right.
I'm proud of it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right.
They were French Canadians, and they were not going to allow a little thing like sub-zero degree weather 25 weeks of the year stop them. They were tough.
Wow.
And they went into the land with their bare hands. They built a new home for themselves and their progeny. They were true pioneers.
Yes. We're all very impressed, Charles. All right.
And you should be. These were typical French Canadians doing what typical French Canadians do.
Yeah, well, great. Okay, good. I'm glad. Well, how come they don't do that anymore, Charles? How come they don't do that anymore then? How come they don't carve cities out of the forest?
Same reason there are no more Michelangelos in Italy. Our cultures have gone to hell. That's why. You might as well ask, why is it every people on the world today produces crap instead of the good stuff they used to put out? Well, it's because we've all become sort of garbagey. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Again, I don't judge.
All right.
But anyway, I salute the founders and the current residents of the great town of Peace River, Alberta.
Excellent. All right. Question from Brian.
Oh, one other thing. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want me to wear a lapel pin from your hometown or community, no matter how obscure, you just send them to me at my Austrian address, and I will be happy to wear them on future episodes of the show. So if you see me, Vinny, with Dodsworth Flats, Iowa, or something, know that one of our loyal fans and/or patrons have sent in that lapel pin.
Excellent. Um,
This is localism in action. Think globally, act locally.
did you know the population of that town is 6,000 right now?
Yeah, see? You're excited about Peace River. You know you want to go there, don't you?
That's like super high up there in Alberta too. That's like
Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't joking. I mean, they've got like 30 days of night. It's real vampire country at the wrong time of year.
wow. All right. Can we move on, Charles?
I guess so.
Okay.
If you consider doing what it is we've actually come to do, some sort of moving on, yeah.
All right. I'm in favor of progress. All right. So, question
Oh,
from Brian who says, Charles, what is your opinion of Pilsudski, the supposed dictator of Poland in the 1920s? It seems to me like he made a mistake being so intransigent over Danzig. He could have been a German ally, and his country may not have been occupied for decades. Instead, Poland trusted an ineffective guarantee by Britain and France. Were there positive aspects to his leadership?
well, I mean, practically speaking, although he had opponents that some of whom I think were better than uh, he was very much the founder of independent Poland. Uh, he was not a good Catholic, to say the least. Uh, he got into some fights with the church. Um, but I mean, he was able to defeat the Soviets with the help of the French and the miracle of the Vistula in 1920. So yeah, he did some good things, sure.
Right. Question from Sandra who says, Charles, you said that you are staying in Austria for the summer to work on two new books. Can you tell us anything about them? Maybe even a hint.
Why haven't I revealed this before?
Yeah, I mean, why won't you let it be known, Charles?
I don't know. I have no idea. What should I let it be known?
The patron is asking kindly, so I think you
Okay,
should.
I'm writing two books in the summer.
Can you tell us anything about them? Maybe even a hint.
Well, when they're published, they'll have hard covers and they'll have pages made of paper, and those pages will have ink words on them printed. Did you want more than that?
Yes.
Okay. One is going to be a biography of Empress Zita for 10 books, which will be a companion to my Kaiser Karl book. The other, for Angelico Press, will be a collection of Archduke Otto's writings about America, and including introductory chapters on the Habsburgs and America in general, and on the Archduke and the United States in particular.
Was that so hard?
Yes, it was very painful.
All right. We've got a
How
lot
come
of,
I didn't let it be known until now?
I don't know, because you're in Big Almond's pocket.
Yeah, I think so. I've sold out to Big Almond years ago. I've always said I'd have sold out if I could have found someone to buy. Big Almond, they were willing and ready. They were right there with my price. It was a can of Blue Diamond almonds.
All right, Oscar has three great questions. He says, Hello, Vincenzo and Charles. Mr.
All right.
Franchini, would you please ask Mr. Coulombe to comment on the following topics? Yes, I can. Okay, Oscar says, I was thinking of things you said in old episodes, and one of the things you said was that what kept Europe together between each reset, World War One, World War Two, etc., was what remained of the order before the reset. This was an old episode, and I hope I'm not mischaracterizing what you said. With this in mind, would you please comment on the current Great Reset?
Well, of course, there's a lot of difference as to what this Great Reset is supposed to be. What certainly characterizes it is plans more or less revealed by people who are pretty stupid. I mean, one of the things that I find amazing about modern leadership is how really stupid they are. And by stupid, I mean a combination of arrogance and ignorance. They really don't know anything, as is shown by the fact that everything blows up in their faces because, like, they're stupid and stuff. As my late father used to say, when you're stupid, bad things happen. Well, unfortunately, when your rulers are stupid, bad things happen to you. They happen to them too, but as a byproduct, it hits you. Um, what keeps us together now are the very bare minimum that we've inherited from the past, and it is fraying pretty badly. So we'll see what happens.
Hmm. I mean, you say it's like. I mean, we were kind of talking about this in the past, like natural virtue and supernatural virtue. Would you say it's
Yeah,
like natural virtue would be? I mean, in most areas, I guess something to cling to, right?
yeah, it would be, but unfortunately, it's natural virtue. Now that supernatural virtue is entirely discredited, even in Catholic circles, natural virtue has come under attack. And natural virtue is the bare minimum for anything to survive. I'll give you an example. A society can't survive unless, in the long term, unless the majority of people are willing to make terrible sacrifices, even unto death, to keep it going. But that may not be the truth. That may not be true today of a lot of our young people and so on. To put this another way, how many people would risk their lives the way the young Ukrainians are doing for their country?
I don't know.
I
Pretty
don't know
pretty
either.
minimal.
Yeah, I would say they'd be too busy trying to defend their I don't know, abortions or something. So it's pretty it's kind of pathetic. I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
Hmm. Okay, another question from Oscar. He says, I have seen the rise among U.S. Hispanics, mostly second or third generation, ideologies like indigenism and the new concept of Latinx. What are the origins of these strange ideologies? What resources do you recommend to better be able to understand and combat these ideas?
They are from stupid Anglo academics, and it shows just what kind of sellouts so many of their Hispanic students have become, that they suck up this crap. As far as correctives, if the patient is able to read English, Bloodstained Altars and No God Next Door are a very good place to start.
Oh, gosh. I think
If
those are okay. That's fine. I think those are out of print tan books, but okay.
But if they can read Spanish, then anything by the Consejo de Estudios Felipe Felipe dos would be good to read, or by Irbil. There are a lot of the in Spanish language. There's a lot of really good stuff, reflecting the fact that this garbage is primarily constructed by stupid Anglos, whose mouth to mind ratio is exactly inverse.
There's a couple other books that Tan is kind of promoting harder. Mexican Martyrdom. Have you read that book at all? Firsthand accounts
Yeah.
of the religious persecution in Mexico. We have that in our
Yes,
store,
that's
and then
good.
Saints and Sinners in the Cristero War. I don't know if that's
That too would
relevant
be
or
good.
not, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, those are the real heroes, not these sort of Latinx. Um, you know what gets me about people today?
Yeah.
Uh, you hear a lot of paid mouths shrieking about how women's rights are under attack with the overthrow of Roe v. Wade, but those same mouths are unable to define what a woman is.
Wow.
So if you don't know what a woman is, how do you know it has rights? Huh, little morons? You can't tell us what a woman is. You don't know what a woman is. I demand unicorn rights. Elves have rights too. I demand them. Okay. Keep talking out of both ends of your rear. Go ahead. What a bunch of idiots.
They can't tell us who a woman is. We can only say.
Well, the Toronto police issued this thing on a missing woman. It's a guy with a beard.
No.
Can you imagine that? That's kind of one of the stupidest things I've ever seen in my life. But oh well, we can't say. We don't know. He self-identifies. Okay, guess what? I self-identify as rich. Yeah, that's right. I'm terribly wealthy, and so I should be able to write all the checks I can, and everybody has to honor them, even though they're as rubber as an eraser. Because I self-identify as rich, and so my checks are good. And you have to take them, and you have to give me whatever I give you for them. You've got to give me stuff. You've got to give me services. You've got to let me fly first class back home. And you can't cash the check, because if you should cash it and there's no money, it would bounce. And that would be bad, because it would be implying that I was actually poor when I've already said I self-identify as rich. So eat it. Take my rubber checks and enjoy them.
Rich people can go to jail too.
Yeah, well, that shows that there's evil in the world. But I've decided, that I'm going to get my doctorate at Harvard.
Does Harvard know?
No, but they will. I'm just going to show up for graduation, though. I'm not going to actually do any coursework.
Wow.
Because I self-identify as, from this moment on, I self-identify as a doctoral candidate from Harvard. And when I've decided that I've completed my program, I'll show up at graduation and expect my degree.
I wonder if anyone has actually done that. Now that you say that, like, what's the audit? Like, okay, so I'm applying to jobs. I have Harvard on my resume. Like, is there an audit somewhere? Like, how do you audit that?
Well, people do. I mean, obviously, every now and then you hear about somebody getting fired because he falsified his resume. But I think the very concept of falsifying your resume is wrong.
Because whatever you put there
This is how you feel about
yeah.
yourself. So what if you feel that you're a member of the Harvard graduating class of 1998? Well, then you are. Did you know you got the Silver Star in Vietnam? At Quang Tri in 1968. Well, you weren't even born then, but it doesn't matter. You self-identify as a Vietnam veteran and war hero.
I don't know. For some reason, you're like, this reminds me of the end of The Shining, where it's like, where Jack Nicholson is part of the picture and like fused into like he's just like
Yeah, well,
it
why not?
transcends space and time.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
why not? Why not?
All right, Charles. We have one more question for the pre-show.
Oh boy, it's a short pre-show.
Well, they can't.
You should have had a coffee ice cream cone.
Oh yeah, I should have. All right. Actually, it's a short pre-show because we're actually catching up on all the patron questions. So I didn't have a lot to put there. So it's going to be an interesting dilemma here because I'm going to have to start putting all the patron questions on the pre-show and then maybe non-patrons in the main show. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. All right. Moving on. Rossiger says, you once said that the pillars of the West were the countries that flowed from Europe and what they created. The Anglosphere, La Hispanidad, Francophonia, Lusophonia, and Russia. Could you please comment on these different outpourings of the West in Christendom and that each did that you think were noteworthy that the rest didn't do? What did they do right? What did they do wrong? Their shortcomings. It is a joy listening to you both on a weekly basis. It is like a breath of fresh air in this smog of madness and insanity.
Well, thanks very much. But you've given me a horrendously long question, which would require a horrendously long answer. A veritable course in history. But to make it brief, the Anglosphere, of course, is Britain, England, Scotland, Wales, Ireland, though they don't like being mentioned in the Anglosphere. 2/3 of them want gay marriage and abortion, so we know that they're full-fledged members of the Anglosphere. And they don't have to worry about being Irish anymore because they're not. The third that voted against these things are Irish, but they're only a third. Canadians, Anglo-Canadians especially, Australians, New Zealanders, Anglo-South Africans, India to a degree, Pakistan, to some degree the Philippines because of the American occupation, various other places. This is the fabulous Anglosphere. They speak English there. That was
Okay.
one big mistake. They should have spoken French, but there it is. Uh, the the biggest mistake they ever made was that frequently the colonizers in the Anglosphere, because of the era in which it happened, were anti-Catholic. But that isn't all there is to it, because in the later stages of the empire, and in some few earlier, uh, the empire actually opened the way for Catholic missionaries in Australia and South Africa and New Zealand and Canada and so on. So what they spread across the world that was wrong was their heresy. What they spread about that was right was, of course, their English and their technology and all that. Francophonie, the French world, which includes France, a good Quebec, various ethnic islands in North America, Haiti, West Indies, big chunk of Africa, French Indochina. Up until the French Revolution, and then with some intervals afterwards, uh, the French really pushed the faith in their colonies. But after those dates, they replaced missionary work with the so-called mission civilisatrice, the civilizing mission, which was supposed to be secular. Uh, pardon me. Sleepy time down south. Uh, Hispanidad, of course, is Spain, a good chunk of Latin America, the Philippines, and so on. They were very good in terms of bringing the faith, uh, Spanish, and so on. Their big mistake was the centralizing reforms of the Bourbons and the expulsion of the Jesuits. Lusofonia is Portugal, chunks of Africa and Asia, um, and Brazil. They're very like the Spanish, both in their virtues and in their failures. And lastly but not least, Russia, which pushed the envelope past the Ural Mountains all the way through Siberia to the Pacific and then across into Alaska, and at last all the way down to California at Fort Ross. Well, they brought Christianity to the Eskimos and the Aleuts and the Yakuts and all sorts of other people who wouldn't have gotten it any other way. And they served to maintain the memory of Byzantium. So there they are.
All right. Um, okay, that's gonna do it for the pre-show, everyone. I know it's on the shorter side. I apologize for that, but busy Fourth of July weekend. Very busy.
Really? How busy is it? How busy is busy?
Well, I mean, what kind of question is that?
I don't know.
Like nonstop busy, like freight train busy,
Woo
like
woo.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, you're not going to stop and smell the roses on Monday.
What roses?
The ones in your garden while you're barbecuing for the 4th.
I can't stop and smell the roses because if I'm barbecuing, I'm smelling the delicious meats that I'm cooking.
Well, yeah, but you've got the roses and that big vine. You can like that. You go back and forth. But you're not going to work on the 4th of July.
No, I have off.
And you know why?
Why?
It's a grand old flag, it's a high-flying flag, and forever in peace may it wave. It's the emblem of the land I love, the home of the free and the brave. Every heart beats true under red, white, and blue, with never a boast nor brag. And should old acquaintance be forgot, keep your eye on that grand old flag.
That gets me in a Yankee Doodle Dandy mood, big time. They better play that on Turner Classic Movies. I wanna catch at least some of it.
I'm the kid who caught the candy. I'm a Yankee Doodle Dandy.
Ah,
You remember how it goes?
I don't have it memorized, but
I'm a Yankee Doodle Dandy, a Yankee Doodle do or die, a real live nephew of my Uncle Sam, born on the 4th of July. I've got a Yankee Doodle sweetheart, she's my Yankee Doodle boy. Oh, Yankee Doodle went to London just to ride the horse and ponies. I am that Yankee Doodle boy.
there you go.
You mean like that?
Just like that, you nailed it, Charles.
Is this putting you in a more patriotic mood?
It is.
My country, 'tis of the land of Freemasonry. Well, all right, not that one. But I'm telling you, love is in the air.
All right, guys. Full episode coming at you, so we need to go over there.
And it's the 4th of July episode.
You didn't catch that one, Charles. Over
Yes, I
there.
did, over there.
Oh, okay.
And we won't come back till it's over there.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
See? George M. Cohan. You bet. Only 45 minutes from Broadway.
Well done, Charles. Well done. All right, we'll see you in the full episode, guys.
That's right. And remember, it's a grand old flag.